So to take up where we left off from, let's get on with doing some detail. Now, here we have some areas. Now, very angular pieces, these Necron things, so I'm trying to keep the angles as much as I possibly can. Extrude is set by local normal, by the way. Make sure. I'm going to bring that in, like so. And then I'm going to insert to about, well, not too much, because if you look, that one's kind of screwing up. So let's go and see what's causing the problems over here. Probably just a bad vert. So, Control A, and let's just do a quick weld. Thought as much. There some spare verts out. Now, the actual model calls for there to be a double insert. However, I think that looks a little bit weak, to be quite honest. So, let's just do some work on this. And I'm going to insert on the top here. Like that. And then extrude back in. About yay far, not too far. And what I'm going to do as well is, I'm going to take these bottom parts here and here. Just use the scale tool to bring them up a bit. Like that. I'll do the same thing over here. There we go. Now what I'm going to do in here is kind of add some detail pieces, so I'll do the same down here. But because, remember we said all about the whole sinister engine thing, let's press the insert button to get the same amount as last time. We have to think, well, what are we going to put in here to make it look sinister? And we can't do rivets, for obvious reasons. Rivets aren't going to work on this. So what are we going to use? Let's do that extrude again. And I just want to bring this part down. The answer is again plate on plate. And we're going to build alien technology pieces into this, and grills, and lots of other things. Okay. Sorry if it's a little bit noisy here. New office, new noises. Isn't it fun? There we go. Okay, so we've got these two openings now kind of built into the side of it. They're coming off here. So, what I'm going to do is kind of go into this one here and start building our first detail piece. And what I'm going to do is kind of go in here. I'm going to go right through the middle like that and do a connect. And that gives us this nice shape here. And I'm going to grab this and I'm going to do a chamfer on it just to kind of give it some width. Now I'm going to target weld my vert out to here and to here. Okay. Right. What was I doing? Oh yeah, sorry I had to pause for a second there just to get myself together. Now in here then. Now remember we're avoiding things like, you know, wheels and low tech pointlessness, but we are doing plate on plate. So first of all some plate on plate tech, so I'm going to do an inset. Going to move and make it by local. That way I can kind of shift it around inside this shape. Do a small extrude. And then a quick tessellate on this shape here. Another small insert. And I'm just going to move it on the local like that. Extrude it back in just a little bit perhaps. While on this piece here I can do an insert. Click OK. I'll just bring it over to this side. Do a small extrude out. Like that. And then on this part here, Small inset. Change the amount of the inset now, because I want to lose some of the order on that. I'm going to go to a scale, make this local, scale it down on the local axis just a tiny bit. Okay, now if I hit mesh smooth, just grow that up, bring this down a little bit like that. Okay, I'm going to extrude that to about there. And this part here, I'm going to extrude back in like that. Now I'm going to do a small bevel. I'm back. Okay, so that's giving us, you know, this tiny area here is already giving us some shape. Now some people call these nurnies, some people call them greebles, you can call them what the hell you want. It's up to you how you're going to do this, but we're going to spend some time doing it, so you better get used to it really. Okay, we're going to take these two here and inset them. And then I'm going to drag that shape over to about there. Now I'm going to use a hinge from edge, and I'm just going to bring it out from here. No special reason, just because I think it looks nice. Now be careful when you do insets and things. It can be quite hard if you're working with very small values. There we go. That gives us that shape there off the top. Now, what's on this flat panel here that we just built? Well, how about some cylindrical kind of things? So I'm going to use my auto grid. Change height segments down to 1, change sides down to 12. Otherwise we'll end up with a lot of parts. Just drag this shape out, give it some height. Not a lot, there we go. Now I'm going to change it to move on parent. Shift, drag, and just move that one down there. Now, remember what I said about this is supposed to be kind of sinister architecture, yeah? So we're not going to want to be displaying all of our technology in a visible kind of way, but we want the inference that the technology is there to be seen, if you know what I mean. So what we're going to do, once I build some more down here, is kind of build over the top of it. But first, let's attach these two pieces on. Okay. So remember, we're very much going for the whole kind of what is it, or what does it do kind of approach here. Right, let's do an inset. Yeah, that's quite nice. Do an extrude back just a little bit. To about there should do it. Now, what I'd like to do here is kind of grow in some detail. So, first things first, I'm going to get rid of that, and that. Just backspace. Then I'm going to get rid of these verts, one at a time, makes it easier. Now, if I take this, I can tessellate it. But if I'm going to tessellate it, you want to choose the kind of tessellating you're going to be doing. So we can tessellate it by face. And if you look, that's going to do that kind of weird shape to it. Or, we just wait again, if you tessellate by edge, you can kind of do that to it. They're okay, but you know, they're not sideways, which would be useful. You can kind of change the way that you tessellate though. So if I do a cut from say here up to here, just undo that. If I do a cut, as I was saying, from cut tool can be a pain in the arse by the way, here to about there. And you see it's drawn the cut just there for no apparent reason. So when you have a cut that's not doing it the way you want it to, just draw it out and let go. I hate you, cut tool. I hate you so much. Sod it. When cut tool's giving you this much grief, apart from setting for 3D Studio Max, I can always just use the create tool and create myself the polygon I want. Bit of a long way of doing it, I suppose, but it works. And then we can tessellate it. There we go. As you see, the pattern is completely different again, because we did it that way. Tessellate's actually underused and very, very, very useful little tool. Whee! I'm going to have to find out why I can't move up to these corners. I must have balked something quite properly to do it that badly. Right. Okay, just quickly check. I think there's a vert just sitting there that has to be executed. So again, I mean, this is just a display, so I can show you what tessellate does. So you create kind of the grid patterns as you go along. So it's all about your grid patterns. Oops, Control X. Anyway, enough fun and larks. I'll just get rid of that, and we'll go back to our initial tessellate pattern, which is that, and then Control select by that, and then what we can do is we can either create a shape from the selection and make it into geometry, or if we go back to having it all selected that way, we can do an inset. What? I don't know, I'm kind of working. What do you want? I've had Law come in and shout at me, and then when I said, what do you want? He said nothing. And now he asked me why I haven't turned his light off.
Why is he sitting in bed?
I don't know, is his light supposed to be turned on? Does he not know how to use a light switch?
I don't know what's going on. Probably because you showered in it.
Right, useless.
Why don't you give him a kiss? It's bed time. Night, love.
What? I wouldn't say what, it wasn't paused.
I need to go in there.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't paused. There, that's how you pause a recording. Not the other way. Right, anyway, apart from that near dialogue we all had with Amanda, let's get back to this. And what I'm going to do is use a nice small inset. And, oh, now if you look, I was insetting my polygon, which I don't want to do this time. And a nice small extrude inwards, like so. Now a nice small inset again, and a nice small bevel. Okay, and that panels that nicely. Press F4 and you can see that that's now defined properly with the areas behind it. Okay, so hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense on why we do things this way. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, good God, this is going to take a long, long time, and it probably will. But I'm afraid that is kind of the nature of 3D. If you want immediate kind of results, 3D isn't the place for it, really. Okay, now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to isolate that section just there, and I'm going to duplicate it, because obviously I don't want to have to do all these pieces as well. However, before I do, what will be useful is doing this top part, and I'll do that in the next section. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next section.